Welcome back to Hot Rod Guy Garage, and this is going to be another episode on the 96 Geo Metro. In this video, we're going to see if we can get this thing where it'll actually drive. Now, I don't know if it's possible, or if it will even drive, but I was told the transmission made noise, so I investigated a little deeper in it, so watch along with me and we'll see what we get into. So alright guys, yesterday, I got to thinking, I was told this transmission in this car shifted, and it shifted fine, and that it made noise. So I jacked it up yesterday. I had a little free time here at the shop, after closing time, and I pulled the side cover off transmission. And what I had found was, you have two gears on an automatic Geo Metro under the side cover. Now keep in mind that side cover is almost impossible to pull off in the car, but you can do it with enough determination. So let's flip the camera around. I'll show you the splines. I'm going to show you my proposed fix, and we'll see if it actually works. And alright guys, as you can see, the splines in that thing are smoother than a baby's bottom. So this is what your side cover looks like right here. Right? Well, I've got a parts transmission that come with the car, so I pulled the gear out of it with good splines. The problem is, the jack shaft in the car transmission has a bad set of splines too, and to change the jack shaft in it, you actually have to disassemble the whole transmission. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to pull a transmission out of a car and put one in it, or pull a transmission part to fix it and not know if the car will run for any amount of time. I don't know anything about the other transmission. That's going to add cost, because you're going to have to buy seals, going to have to buy gaskets, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to show you jack shaft on the car, and we'll see if we can fix this thing for free, hopefully. Alright guys, I don't know if you can necessarily see those splines right there, but there's about 3 thousandths going off of them all the way around. And that's not a good situation. So at this point, I've got one used gear with good splines and one used gear with strip splines. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make a shim for the splines, and what that's going to involve. Now this is not going to be the correct way to fix this, but it should be a permanent fix when I get done. I'm going to use some thin aluminum. You can kind of guess what that is. It is a Coke can. And that's what I'm going to use to center the splines back in the gear that has splines actually in it. Now, the Coke can alone will not hold any kind of, pressure, because, it's aluminum, and aluminum don't do good in torsional stress, right? So, let's just see what we get into and see what kind of fix I come up with today. And we may drop the gas tank out of this car and clean it out and throw a fuel pump in it and see if we can get it running and driving. I don't know if it's possible, but at this point at the shop today, I'm kind of caught up on everything. I'm kind of waiting on parts for Grand National. And I've got a surprise project that I've not shown y'all yet on the other side of the shop. You'll probably see it some in this video, just kind of in the background. But let's get fixing this thing. Well, the Coke can didn't work. Mostly because it's too thick to actually feed between the splines. If that gives you any idea of how tight the fit still is, it's just not enough to give me warm and fuzzies just to run the nut back on it. So, plan 2, let's break out the welder. That'll work. For how long, I don't know, but it'll work. Well, got that transmission took care of, and as you can tell, I'm pretty dirty. I've been up under the car. I got that tank out, which I'm going to show you all that too. The gas tank in this thing is in very bad shape. Generally, when a Geo Metro sits, or any Suzuki variant, the tanks do not hold up well inside, guys. if you're fortunate enough for it just to be some black kind of crusty stuff, most of the time you can clean 90% of that stuff out and still have a good tank. I've looked up a few times and that's what's happened. This tank's pretty bad inside. Had some pretty bad rust on the top on the outside because I had a rat's nest on the top. I wire brushed that, sprayed a little black paint on it and a little undercoating. It'll be fine. Big thing is I got to find a fuel pump laying around here to stick in this tank. And I'll flip the camera around and I'll show you what the tank looks like now. I'll kind of show you down the side of it. I'll show you the sending units and stuff. So watch along with me. So that's inside the tank. It cleaned up pretty okay. It'll more than likely be fine for a while. So I'm going to show you the sending units and stuff. So here's our fuel sender. After we clean the crusty stuff off of it, I will own this and make sure it's still good. And you know, I'm going to wire brush it a little bit because it's still pretty funky. And no wonder the fuel pump wouldn't run. So, you know, you got to remember, guys, when you let stuff sit like this, stuff don't hold up well. Just from the condensation and moisture. So basically, I'm still trying to get this thing where to run today. I had planned to work on Project Phoenix some and actually, you know, finish up the small things that it needed for the No Name Nationals. And I got to working on this 96, and here we are at this point. So basically, I'm just going to finish out the day working on 96. Hopefully there'll be somebody come by the shop here in a little while I can send to get some gas for it. Assuming I can get the tank back in it and find a fuel pump around here. And we'll see if this thing will run and drive today, maybe, hopefully. But I will say this, there will be another Project Phoenix video probably this weekend. So make sure you check out some of these builds, guys. Look around on my channel a little bit. There's lots of cool stuff just kind of everywhere. So, as always, I'll be back here in a little while. Well, I got us a pump put together here. Now, this isn't factory pump for a Geo, so it'll work. So, let's get this thing put in the tank. Well, I guess we'll spray something on top of them sending units and stuff. It seemed like it had a tar type coating anyway on top of it, so maybe a little undercoating. At least keep from rusting, I guess. You know, any worse than it already has. And it won't take long for it to dry. So basically at this point, we're ready to put the tank back in the car, so I want to get to that, so follow along with me. Well, it's a little while later. Got 5 gallons of gas poured in the car, and as you can see, I'm still real nasty. Got a jumper box shoved in it, filled it full of water. Top transmission fluid off, checked the oil and stuff in it again, and let's see if it'll run. Well, the good thing is it's running, and it seems to be running fairly well. Considering I didn't clean any fuel lines out, I didn't clean the injector out, didn't even replace the fuel filter on it. So I'm going to start this thing up and let it run a little while to get a little heat in it. Just make sure transmission goes in gear and check fluid and stuff in it. So let's see what happens. Well, it moves. It feels like the brakes are pretty much stuck on it. So let's shut this hood down and I'm going to drive around a little loop here a few times. Just here to shop and see if we can get the brakes freed up on it a little bit. Well, it's kind of interesting. I'm sitting on a 4x4, so, and the mount's sitting here on the floor. And it sounds like the transmission is making a little noise. But we're moving, so let's see if we can drive it a little bit. It's definitely making a noise. Well, it runs and drives. It's making little noises here and there. Looks like we got a right front brake locked up, so at least it runs and it does move. I guess maybe next week I'll pull the calipers off front of it, see if I can get the brakes freed up. Hopefully it's just a froze slide pin and not a failed caliper. But you never know on something like this. I don't know anything about the car. But it does run and drive. Transmission is making a little noise. It more than likely needs a valve body gasket put in it. You know, it's probably dried out. Or it may stop when we drive it some more. So that's just something we'll just have to come to when we get there. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button because it makes stuff like this possible. And if you haven't yet, check out the Project Phoenix album. I'm fixing to drive that thing 6 hours one way to Missouri for the No Name Nationals. So there'll be a lot of content coming up on that and pretty soon. So until next time, guys, we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.